right. Shalom. 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 Before I start, I'd like to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Waha, Waka Kodash, giving double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I learned this truth from through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the whole elect. And shalom to you, sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. I am Mashiach Arazakah from the tribe of Gad. And pretty much, for those of you that watch Jacob's Trouble Part 1 on this channel, this is Part 2. So if you a Jake that come across this video, this lesson is going to be titled as Jacob's Trouble Part 2. So you need to watch Part 1 first before you watch Part 2. Because in this video, we're going to go into the economy. We're going to go and look up more stuff. And then we're going to break things down in the scriptures. I think I might have Jacob's Trouble Part 3 to bring out scriptures. But depending on how long, the Spirit moves with me in this lesson. But this is Jacob's Trouble Part 2. All right. Because Part 1 talks about 10 things to happen if there was a economic collapse. All right, now this lesson we're going to go into the collapse. All right, and this is the usdebtclock.org. As you can see, all the countries are in trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. And we'll start from Turkey. Now this is Turkey. As you can see, let me go back. Now, if you can see, all these countries are in trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. All right. And this place called America, they have to bring in a new currency to get all these countries out of debt. All right. So they have to bring in a new system. All right. So now we know, if you watch Part 1, you'll know and understand the 10 things that will happen in the collapse, and we saw them if you watch Part 1. Now if you didn't watch Part 1, again, you need to go watch Part 1 before you watch this Part 2. Okay, so this is basically the US debt clock. This could probably be, this is probably a basic verbatim of how much debt that this place called America is in, but it probably is way higher than this. But if you can see, this is really bad, man. $29 trillion in debt. That's pretty bad. All right. So, yeah, we're going to get out some scriptures. And, yeah, man, they have to bring in a new system. Once this global economic collapse happens, all right, they're going to come in with a new system, a new currency. All right, a digital system. All right, which is going to lead to the MOTB. Now, I'm not going to say what the MOTB is. You need to go and research it, because now, I'm already on a strike for talking about certain things, So go and research it, man. You should know when I say MOTB, you should know what I'm talking about. MOTB. That's going to be the new currency, a digital currency. So you should know what I'm talking about. All right. But yeah, man, this is going to go into that. And again, if you can see, all the countries are in trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, man. Okay, you can look this up. This is usdebtclock.org. All right. And if you look at this place called America, that is a lot of debt. All right. So now we're going to put in if the US economy collapses, It says you will likely lose access to credit. So your credit, you won't have credit because everybody use credit, to get a place to stay, to get a car, to get a credit card or whatever it is that you're trying to get, take out loans or do trades or whatever it is. You have to have good credit. But hey, if economy collapses, you would likely lose access to credit. You won't be able to use your credit cards or credit for anything. Banks would close, meaning if you got trillions of dollars of cash in your account, you will lose it, man. All right, you will lose it. And to add to that, if you have Bitcoin, all right, they will freeze your Bitcoin accounts. You won't have access to enter into it. All right, because once they bring in the digital system, because Bitcoin is off of the digital system, all right, you're gonna have the MOTB to be able to have granted access to these things. All right, credit, bank information, things like that. It says demand would strip Salakia. It says demand would outstrip supply of food. So you wouldn't even get access to food, man. All right, you wouldn't even have food supply. You wouldn't even be able to go and buy food, man. All right, gas, you wouldn't even be able to get gas and other necessities. All right, other necessities. So in that time, when this time happens, it's gonna bug a lot of people out because food. Everybody needs food to survive on. Everybody needs water to survive on. All right, everybody needs these things to survive, to live. It says if the collapse affect local governments, it says in utilities, then water and electricity might no longer be available. Right, you won't be able to have access of being able to drink water. All right, no water, man. So you turn your sink on, you won't have no water. You try to take a shower, you won't have no water. All right, electricity, so you ain't gonna have no access, which will lead to an EMP attack. And once an EMP attack happens, you won't have no cell phone service. You won't be able to use the internet like how you're able to use all these social media platforms. You won't be able to use them because they aren't going to be no longer available. All right. So this is Jacob's trouble. This is going to bug a lot of people out because they're not going to be able to handle that type of situation, man. A lot of people ain't ever been in a situation where they've been without anything. Everybody's always used to having something, especially with this society. Esau has made our people to be lazy. A lot of people have been lazy. So they never went through struggles because they always been given by the government. But once the government stops giving, it's going to bug a lot of Jakes out. All right. And this is going into Jacob's trouble. All right. This is what it's leading into. It's leading into Jacob's trouble. All right. So in that time, a lot of things are going to increase, man. It's going to increase. And I'll start off with a precept. This is Micah chapter 2, 10. Salakia. This is Micah 2 and 10. And we're going to read just verse 10. Micah 2 and 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." Right, this place called America is not your rest. All right, this place is about to fall. A lot of things is going to collapse. A lot of things is going to unfold. A lot of things is going to just break out. The Lord is intensifying his judgment according to Ecclesiastes 12 and 1. All right. So you want to be remembering your creator while these evil days come not, because the Lord is intensifying his judgment. All right. Micah 2 and 10. "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." This place called America is not your rest. If you treat it like it's your rest, you're going to be a messed up being when the time comes. It says, "Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sword of destruction." Right, because this place is polluted. What's polluted? The philosophies. The way how this system has built it in our people's mind, man. All right. This place called America has taught us to be weak. All right. And our people trust in their enemies. They trusted their enemies when the scriptures tells us not to trust our enemies, man. But Jake does it. All right. But hey, once this place falls, it's gonna bug a lot of people out. All right. So right, if you embed it in the ways of society, it shall destroy you. Mentally, it shall destroy you. Even with the sword destruction, you're gonna be destroyed with the physical destruction, which is this thermonuclear fire, man. Thermonuclear missiles. You're gonna be destroyed in thermonuclear fire. Salakia. All right. So you want to be constantly building in this thing, repenting and seeking your true power, because the Lord is going to be the one to protect us in these last days. All right. And the Lord is the one that's intensifying his judgment, man. All right. These things have to come to pass so Yahushua can come back. Yahushua is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, man. All right. Jeremiah 30:5. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. We're not in a time of peace. We have an uproar still going on. There's still wars going on in the Middle East. There's storms. There's earthquakes. There's, violence going on. You know, people are starving. People are homeless. People are murdering, killing. All right. There's a lot of things going on here, man. It's not in the time of peace. We're in the time of fear. All right. And in this time, this is why you want to be getting this truth while you still can. All right. It says, as ye know and see whether a man doeth travail with child. And that word travail, it means suffer painful efforts. And who travail with child? A woman does. Because when she is pregnant and a baby is due to come, she goes through what? Painful efforts. All right. It says, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his lions as a woman in travail. And all faces are turning to paleness. And that paleness is feeble and weak. Right now, everybody's not feeble and weak. But when that time comes, with the global economic collapse, all right, a new currency being brought out, all right, it's going to bug a lot of people out. War, violence, crime is going to increase. All right. Verse 7, Alas, for that day is great, so there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Right, because the time that we're coming into is going to be worse than any time period in history. All right, because everybody in this world think that slavery was the roughest and hardest time for us. But hey, no, this time that we're coming into, all right, is going to be worse than slavery. Because this is going to be a global thing. So you ain't going to be no running to the north to escape something. Ain't going to be none of that. This is going to be a global thing throughout the world. So you ain't got nowhere to run to. All right. You ain't going to have nowhere to run to, man. All right. Let's read again. Alas, for that day is great, so there's none like it. Because the time that we're coming into is going to be worse than any time period in history, even slavery. Because everybody thinks slavery was the hardest time for us, but it's not, man. All right, slavery was tough, but it ain't going to be on this level that we're coming into. This is going to be a global thing. Ain't going to be no escaping the south to try to go north. Ain't going to be none of that. Because when you go to the north, it's still going to be the same thing. You try to go out of the country, it's still going to be the same thing. It's going to be the global thing. The whole entire country is going to be under one Jew system, one new order. All right. It says, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble. And that's the time we're coming into, man. Jacob's trouble. All right. It says, but he shall be saved out of it. And then he is talking about the elect. They're going to be saved out of it. All right. The Lord is going to protect his elect in that time, man. All right. So you want to pull out of this society, man. All right. You want to pull yourself out of the way of society, man. All right. So I'm going to do part 3 right now. So I'm in it there with that. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Till next time I say, Shalom.